Namaste, I'm Marianne of curvystrongfit.blogspot.com. Today I want to share with you some breath-focused asana. This is particularly useful for people who have any sort of breathing difficulties that might find it difficult in a regular yoga class because of the pace of the class. If you have breathing difficulties like COPD or tracheobronchmalacia or vocal cord dysfunction, a number of things can affect your ability to breathe as confidently as other participants in a class. I have tracheobronchmalacia, which is weak walls of the trachea and bronchial passages. I also have vocal cord dysfunction, which means my vocal cords can close at inappropriate times, and particularly during strenuous exercise. So breath-focused asana is part of my daily practice so that I can develop better breathing techniques that will serve me well in my daily life, but will also help me integrate into mainstream yoga classes. So we're going to start with a hand on our heart center and a hand on our belly, and just take 3 deep breaths at your own pace to center yourself ready for this practice. Great job. Now we're going to do a twist, and as we twist towards the back, we will inhale. As we rotate back to center, we will exhale. Then we'll do the other side with an inhale back and an exhale forward. So you can watch the first one and then join in. You only need to twist as far as is comfortable for you, and what we are doing is making sure that our breath determines how long we're in the pose for. So when you're ready to exhale, that's when you start turning back to center. So remember, your breath determines the length of the move. So inhale into the pose, exhale out at your pace. Your breath determines the length of the pose. Now we're going to inhale as we breathe up and tilt to the left, keeping our sit bones both on the ground, and exhale as you come down. Then you inhale to go up and exhale to come down. So let's do that together. Great job. So there's 2 easy poses that you can do anytime to just get used to the concept of synchronizing your breath to the movement. Let's now move on. We'll put our arms out to the side. This time we're going to breathe in as we touch our shoulders and out as we take our arms back out to horizontal. So remember, your breath determines how long it takes you for your arms to go out and how long it takes you for your arms to come in. They go out with the inhale and come in with the exhale. Great job. Now we're going to place our legs out in front of us. I'm going to sit in Just a basic seated position with our neutral spine, legs straight. The next thing we're going to do is raise one arm up and one to the front. As we inhale, we will swap arms. Then as we exhale, they go back to where they started. You ready? Great job. These seem relatively easy, but when you try and incorporate this breathing into a regular yoga class, you'll find it's a lot harder than it is when you're doing a very slow yoga like this. Now we're going to do a leg maneuver. So you can either have your hands straight on your thighs or you can have them out front, whatever works for you. But you're simply, and in fact you can even put them behind you if you like. You are simply going to lift this leg as you inhale and exhale as you lower it. You can use your hand to help your leg if you like. Great job. Now the other leg. So it's getting a little easier, isn't it? It's becoming second nature almost to make that breath combine with the movement of going into a pose and coming out of it. We're now going to cross our legs just loosely and roll over them to come up into what we call table pose. So your hip and knee will be in one line, your knees are shoulder distance apart, your wrist, elbow and shoulder are in one line, and your palms are shoulder distance apart on the mat. We are now going to breathe in as we raise the arm and out as we lower it. Now do the same with the rear leg. Great job. Now combine those two. Great job. And the other side. Great job. Just for a second, come back. I call this child's pose variation. Basically, you can come down. Child's pose is generally like this or like this. But if you have any breathing difficulties, sometimes both of those can be a problem. So I tend to just clasp my hands and have them in front. That way your body considers it more of a rest position and you've got more open space to breathe. You're not squished in near the mat. And you can come to this pose anytime you need to take a break. That's a great spot to just take a break and catch your breath. So now what we're going to do, you can move your hand in a little if need be for the balance of this one, but see how you go. We're going to inhale as we raise our arm up and then exhale as we lower it back down. And we'll do that 5 times on each side. The other side. remember, if you need to, you can come back and rest in this child's pose variation anytime you like. Back into our tabletop pose, we're now going to inhale as we round our back into cat pose and exhale as we do the opposite into cow pose. Great job. Now we're going to thread the needle, and we're going to do this ever so briefly because we want to time our inhale and exhale. This is a pose that quite often is held for 5 or 10 breaths during a class, but if you want to practice your breathing, it's great to just go in and out of this pose. So arm goes up as you inhale, down as you exhale, up as you inhale, down as you exhale. So you mightn't go into the full thread the needle pose on the ground. You just might reach through a little bit. See what works for your breath. And the other side. And back to our tabletop position when you're ready. Great job. Come back into that child's pose variation and just take a couple of breaths. Now we're going to lower ourselves into a prone position and place our arms in front of us. As we inhale, we will raise opposite arm and leg. As we exhale, we'll lower them. Then as we inhale, we do the opposite leg, and exhale comes down. And again, you can take a break anytime you need to and just lay your head on your hands. Great job. The next thing we're going to do is again in a prone position, and this time you may wish to have a blanket to just lay your head on, and halfway through you can swap sides which way you're looking to if you want to. So we're going to have our arms out front, and this time as we breathe in, we move them back. As we breathe out, we move them forward again. So they're just sweeping along the side of your body. Good job. Remember, you can turn your head to face the other way halfway through. Good job. Place your blanket back. We're now coming up into Sphinx Pose, in which you're laying in your prone position with your elbows directly below your shoulders and your hands flat on the mat in front of you. As we inhale, we're going to pull the arms back a little and push up into Cobra. As we exhale, we come back down into Sphinx. So let's give it a go. Great job. So you can see that these moves are now getting a little harder. And you don't have to progress to doing the slightly more difficult moves until your breathing is ready. You can just practice the ones we've done that work for your breath. And then as you gain strength and stamina, and as you get used to breathing with the movement, you can incorporate these slightly more difficult moves. As you can see, even though I do yoga regularly, my breath is starting to be harder to manage. And that's why at any point you can come back to your child's pose variation. And it doesn't matter if you spend 5 or 10 or 20 breaths here, until you can get your breath back to its normal pace. Good job. We're now going to come back to the center of our mat in a seated position. And we're going to slowly lower our body as we exhale and come down to a supine position on your mat. Again, you're going to take several deep breaths. You can have the soles of your feet flat on the mat, or you can extend your legs out if you want to. Place the palms now next to your hips. When you're ready, bring your legs up so that the soles of your feet are flat on the mat, close to your buttocks. Not too close, but fairly close, so that your ankle and your knee are in one line. And we're going to push up into bridge pose as we inhale, then lower as we exhale. Great job. And lower those legs. Now, if you've got a yoga strap, it's handy for this pose. If you don't, a scarf, a towel, a belt, anything will work. You're simply going to put that strap around one leg and raise that leg up with the other leg straight out. Now, as we inhale, we lower the leg. As we exhale, we raise it. And take as long as your breath needs. If you can't get to the floor before you need to raise that leg, that's fine. You do what works for you. And then you simply lift the left leg, place it in the strap and lower the right leg. And we do the other side. Same way, inhale as you lower, exhale as you raise it. Great job. and lower yourself back down. Again, take a few breaths here to allow your breathing to come back to its regular pace. There's no hurry. Doing yoga slowly still has so many benefits. It's not wasted time sitting catching your breath. It is valuable time spent on self-care. You deserve it. You deserve to be able to breathe at your own pace. Now what we're going to do this time is we're going to raise our legs. Now as we inhale, they lower to the right, and then exhale, they come up. Inhale to the left, exhale, they come up. Remember, the length of your breath determines how long you're in the pose for, and how long you're going down, and how long you're coming up. Release the legs. Beautiful job. If you need to catch your breath halfway through a strenuous exercise like that, you can simply come back to a comfortable position. Catch your breath for a few deep breaths, and then go back into that. Anytime you like. Just do it at your own pace. Great job. Now what we're going to do is lower our left leg and bring our right leg into the chest. And you can support the bent leg with your two arms under the knee if you need to. What we're going to do is, as we inhale, we're going to swap legs. Then we exhale and the legs go back to where they began. Release your legs to the floor whenever you're ready. Great job. Now, if you've got a yoga block, you can use it to do supported fish pose, where you simply place the yoga block on the mat where it will be between your shoulder blades. If you don't get the positioning quite right the first time, you can just jiggle it as needed. Supported fish pose opens the chest and really allows you to breathe. Nice deep breaths into the front of the chest. An alternative is to simply take the block out and lay in Shavasana pose. And you can stay in this pose for as long as you like. Breathing slowly and deeply. And trying to lengthen your exhale to calm your body after all that effort. So you can stay there, but I just want to remind you that you can go to my blog, curvystrongfit.blogspot.com. In the left sidebar, you'll find a link to the website where you can download any of my printable PDFs, including this one that's called Breath Focused Asana Sequence. So remember, the key things with this: Your breath determines how long you take to move into the pose and out of the pose. You're not doing it at my pace or anybody else's pace. You simply breathe in as you move in one direction and out as you come back. In and out with your inhale and exhale. And hopefully over time you can take longer to get into the poses as you build more breath, more of your breath can actually build to a longer breath threshold, we call it. So in time, with a lot of daily breath practice, you might actually find that you can do these poses more slowly and get more benefit from that breath work. But if you do this daily, it will definitely help you get the hang of focusing on breathing when you do asana, and hopefully that'll help you in commercial asana classes, and if you're trying to do any other YouTube videos and stuff. So good luck to anyone out there with breathing issues who's trying to find their way with yoga and trying to make it work for them. It can work for you. You just have to figure out how to manage your own breathing and how to build on what you can currently do. Good job. Namaste.